All right, we are back at it once again. Pierre Poilievre goes off totally on Mark Carney, Chris D'Entremont, and the mainstream media, and a couple clips I have for. These are both by Mark Nixon. So Mark says that MSM, mainstream media, is absolutely disgusting. CTV and CBC showed up to Pierre's press conference with one mission: grill him about D'Entremont. Mark Carney clearly sent the orders. Pierre flips it back on the reporter, and you can see them squirm. CBC isn't journalism anymore. It's paid propaganda, absolutely. So we're going to have a look at this. It's a couple minutes long. Then we'll talk about it. But before we do, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Really helps grow the channel, and I appreciate you so much for that. So let's have a look, then we'll talk about it.
Aaron Collins, CBC. So Chris D'Entremont, just turning back to last week, said that your party is being run like a frat house. So I'm just curious what you think he means by that, and if you think
well, I think that CBC had to be. Are you with CBC, by the way?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay, right.
So I'm just curious if you think that that could lead to more MPs leaving your caucus, and what you think he means by that.
Well, first of all, CBC has had to correct the falsehoods that they put into that story. So I encourage you to tell Canadians about the falsehoods you published and explain why you did that. But I would ask if you agree with Mr. D'Entremont, or do you believe he was telling the truth when he said, and I'm going to quote, "Now, after 6 months under a new Prime Minister who promised financial discipline, Canadians are still waiting." He said that he would be judged by the cost at the grocery store. Well, Canadians are judging him, and they are not impressed. Since the Liberals came to power, food prices have risen 40%. We have heard it many times here today. It is deliberate, and it is unacceptable. It is inhumane for a G7 country. Mr. D'Entremont said that Liberal food price inflation is inhumane. Do you believe that he was telling the truth when he said that? Yes. Oh, you can.
I want to ask you questions.
I did already. I already said that your report from CBC was wrong, and we have corrected the record. We put in a statement. We stand by the statement. But I have a statement here from Mr. D'Entremont. He says, since the Liberals came to power, food prices have risen 40%. We have heard it many times here today. It is deliberate, and it is unacceptable. It is inhumane in a G7 country. Do you agree with Mr. D'Entremont that Mark Carney's food price inflation is inhumane?
So again, I asked you if you thought that.
See, he won't answer. And I know their job as reporters are supposed to ask questions, right? But if you want to have honest and open dialogue, you're going to have to answer questions yourself sometimes. Media scrum is not an interrogation.
If what you thought Mr. D'Entremont meant by your party being run like a frat,
well,
whether or not you thought that would lead to more MPs leaving your caucus. That's the question for you, sir. No.
So I answered your question. And so the answer that I have back to you is that Mr. D'Entremont this is a quote from just a few months ago, where he said that Liberal food price inflation was inhumane. And you know what? He's right. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Absolutely. There's multiple videos of Chris D'Entremont going around saying that, basically mirroring what Pierre Poilievre was saying, or echoing what Pierre Poilievre was saying. I mean, I don't really understand why he crossed the floor. Maybe there was some shady dealings going down, but either way, it doesn't really make sense, does it? Of course not. It's the Liberal Party of Canada we're talking about here, and you have, unfortunately, you do have conservatives, some people, some MPs, politicians, are pretty liberal, even though they're on the conservative side. We just saw it with Chris D'Entremont. Now, I am curious as to what he is going to say to those people who spent time volunteering and spent money donating to him, only for him to flip and go to the Liberals after trashing Mark Carney. It's very weird strategy. It doesn't make sense unless there's some sort of extra benefit involved. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So the other thing I have here is Pierre Poilievre just roasted CTV and CBC. It's again from Mark Nixon. They spent a full week attacking him over Chris D'Entremont. Now a Liberal fire inside the party. Guilbeault and Erskine Smith turning on the budget. Pierre, I look forward to a full week of coverage on Liberal chaos. Absolutely gold. Oh, so it looks like he's taking a page out of his old playbook and being mouthy with the CBC and the CTV, which is good. I think he needs to do more of that. I know some people don't like it, but calling out the fake propaganda news that they are, there's nothing wrong with that. So let's have a look at this, then we'll talk about this as well.
You lost 2 MPs the week of the budget. One cited your leadership as a reason for leaving. I just want to put Carney and the Liberals to the side here, just as you personally.
Of course you do.
Does this say anything about your leadership? Have you maybe reflected on your leadership style moving forward?
No, we are. My plan is to continue to lead and be the only leader in the country that's fighting for an affordable Canada, where our people who work hard can afford a home and food. That is my agenda. And I will just quote Mr. d'Entremont when he speaks about Mark Carney. He says, after 6 months under a new Prime Minister who promised financial discipline, Canadians are still waiting. He said that he would be judged by the cost of groceries at the store. Well, Canadians are judging him, and they are not impressed. He said this only a few months ago. Since the Liberals came to power, food prices are up 40%. We have heard it many times here today. It is deliberate and it is unacceptable. It is inhumane, said Mr. d'Entremont, for a G7 country. So he said that Liberal food price inflation under Mark Carney was inhumane, and I couldn't agree more. And I feel badly for the inhumane conditions, to use his own words, that he is now supporting for his own constituents. But I won't just quote him. I'll quote Nate Erskine-Smith, a Liberal MP, who now says that his children should not have to pay for Mark Carney's budget. Let me see here. Now to the bad and more fairly, where expectations were set at a level we failed to meet, including on the question of generational investments. The budget falls short of these specific promises in our platform, and it unfortunately falls well short of the wartime home building effort that many of us thought we'd deliver. It's certainly not a budget that should throw us into an election on an uncertain time, but it does not live up to its promise of generational investments. He goes on to say, this is Mr. Nate Erskine-Smith, a Liberal MP, that Mark Carney has broke his promise to spend less, with $90 billion of new spending, only 36% of which is actually capital. The rest is more costs. So when you have a Liberal MP attacking the costly credit card budget that Mr. Carney has put forward, then we see turmoil in the Liberals, and I know that there will be wall-to-wall coverage on CTV of this turmoil, of a Liberal MP criticizing his own budget days before the vote. I know you're camped outside his office right now, waiting to get comment from him. I know you've been chasing Mark Carney down hallways to find out what he has to say. I mean, it's just been the relentless coverage that you will have of this dissent within the Liberal Party. I understand also there's former Liberal Minister Guilbeault is unhappy with the environmental policies that while he supports raising costs, he doesn't think they raise them enough. We've got Wilkinson is unhappy. So I know that I'm looking forward to seeing the wall-to-wall coverage on CTV of all of the costly turmoil in the Liberal budget. So I will be tuning in tonight to watch your newscast. Thank you.
Well, Pierre, I have bad news for you, buddy. When you turn in to watch the CBC tonight, which you probably even won't, I wouldn't either, they are not going to cover this at all. They are going to sweep it under the rug. Why? Because they want the Liberals to continue to govern. Why? Because the Liberals keep giving them money. What does that mean? It means that the CBC, for example, is not news, it's propaganda, paid for by the government. If it's paid for by the government, it ain't news. But a lot of people, Liberal boomers particularly, still believe it. Nothing you can really do about that other than like these videos, not just mine, other creators as well. Go give Mark Nixon a follow, amongst many others. Share, spread the word, because we need specifically young men, because young men are the lowest voting demographic, to understand how important this is. And that if we want our country back, it's going to start with them. They need to realize it, even if they say, well, conservatives and liberals is all the same thing, and okay. But just join our side, give the conservatives a chance, and if you're right about Pierre and he fails us, then we'll figure out a different solution together. United we stand, divided we fall.